Jim. I need to dig in. All right. I'll be here in a minute. That's okay. I'm coming.
Joe, I want to be where you are.
That's what happens when you have a few extra minutes, you know.
Najla and Dan, I just wanted to make you aware. I thought we might have talked about it at the hearing last week. David will not be joining us today, but Larry is going to fill in as the alternate. At least he's supposed to be.
Okay. Is Bob
Bob's-
coming too?
He's supposed to be attending, yes.
All right.
He better be. We cannot without him.
Who's the, I don't remember, who's the vice chair?
I don't know that we have one, to be honest with you.
Okay. All right, we'll just get, I don't know if Nigel, if you want to run the meeting or if we want.
Well, I'll let Bob do it if he's there.
Okay. I expect that I'm sure he'll be here.
His legal skills are better than mine.
You've been doing this for a long time too, Nigel. So
Yeah.
I just want to know where Michelle gets her clothes racks.
That would be my husband, archery season.
That's some nice looking deer.
The one
Nice mounts.
without the hat on it, this one is a Pope and Young record holder.
Wow.
I think it is.
Yeah, it's nice. That's not very nice.
The deal was he could hang them only if I could hang my clothing off of them.
Well, apparently he held true to his part.
He did.
Good. All right. Well, so we'll give it a couple more minutes here to everybody. What time is it, by the way?
I'm gonna,
We're still a couple minutes.
if I could, wait, let me go grab my work phone because apparently it's in another room.
Okay.
But I will, if I don't see Larry shortly, I can text him. I'll be right back.
Okay, good. And Kathy, you're the stenographer? Okay.
I am. I'm here for Lori today.
Okay, good. And Chris, I think I recognize you from being in front of us before already.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good. Are you related to Patrick?
I am, yes.
Your brother?
It's my younger brother.
Is that right?
Yeah.
He's a great guy. He's a
Well,
really good
That's good. I'm glad you see he's a good guy.
guy. Well, I understand how it goes with brothers sometimes, so I
Yeah.
get that. So yeah, depends on the day.
He's very much into the political world now, which is kind of funny because he loves it. And it's
Yeah, he does a great job with it too. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Now I see Greg's here. Greg Ciotto, are you with the working with the applicant?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm the contractor, maybe.
All right, and I think I certainly know who Mr. Neidert is. And then I see we have a young woman down here, GK.
That's
you-
my wife, Gretchen.
Oh, that is, okay, so that's another keg that's joining us. Is
Yes.
that right? Good, okay.
Hi.
Hi Gretchen, how are you? We're still waiting for two more members. As you may have heard, the chairman is not going to be able to attend today. So our alternate member, his name is Larry Leggero. He said he will be here. And we also have Bob Ullman, who we expect him to be here any minute. So he may just be running a little behind. So we'll get started as soon as they all arrive.
Larry should be joining us shortly. Now I'm going to call Bob and find out what happened to him. Hold on a sec.
Nigel, how are you?
Good, good. How are you, Bob?
I'm good.
Obviously,
how are
Bob is
you?
Bob is with us. I don't need to call him.
Bob, you're gonna chair?
Oh, am I doing that's right, Dave is away, isn't he?
Yeah.
Sir,
We ready to start?
we still want to wait just a few more minutes. I think Larry's going to join us.
Okay.
Melissa, do you see him trying to log in?
No, I don't.
That's weird.
Greg, how are you?
Good, and yourself?
Not too bad. Thank you.
I see you're still on Court Street.
Might be here until I die of old age.
There's worse places to be.
You're right. It's a nice building.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time that Larry joins on a Zoom meeting.
I was muted. He was with us, Najla, last week for the works.
Oh, he was on. I didn't see him.
Hello, Michelle. Hello, Nigel.
Oh, here he
Hi,
is.
Larry.
Sorry.
Hi,
There he
Larry.
All right, Robert, I think we're ready.
Wow. Okay, this is a long one.
That's
I guess I will call to order the meeting of the Wyomissing Borough Zoning Hearing Board. We are all here today. I'll introduce the board. I'm Robert Ullman. I'm just a member, but I'm serving as chairman only until David Rothermel returns, who's on vacation. Najla Batish, who's also on the zoning board, and Larry Legero, who's an alternate member but will be here voting as he is as David Rothermel is not here. Michelle Bear is the zoning, well, actually, Michelle Bear has a whole lot of different hats that she wears, but she's here primarily as a zoning enforcement officer. Am I correct, the secretary?
Actually, no, for this hearing, I'm only serving as the zoning hearing board secretary. Joe Neidert is serving as the zoning officer.
Okay, well, then you've heard that. And Dan Becker is our solicitor. Now, we are here to address the application of Mr. and Mrs. Chris Keg, owners of a property located at 1518 Meadowlark Road, who are requesting a variance from section 404 area yard and height regulations to section 613.2 front yard exceptions of the Borough of Wyomissing zoning ordinance. The zoning issues are: one, the property is located in the R1 low density residential district. The property measures approximately 24,882 square feet and is conforming for the minimum lot size of 12,000 square feet. Two, the property is a corner lot with frontages along Meadowlark Road and Rose Virginia Road. The rear property line is opposite Meadowlark Road and bordered by the property of Kent and Mary Hollinger at 1544 Rose Virginia Road. Three, the applicant is proposing to erect an 884 square foot garage addition off the side of the existing garage, which faces Rose Virginia Road. Also included is a 253 square foot covered patio to the rear of the garage addition. 4, the required building setback in the R1 zoning district is 30 feet as measured to the property line, paren 43 feet as measured from the outside curb face along Rose Virginia Road, close paren. 5, the proposed addition is to extend past the existing garage by an additional 8 feet toward Rose Virginia Road. Although the addition would fall 1.5 feet short of the required building setback line, it would extend past the increased front yard setback established by the location of the existing neighborhood dwelling at 1544 Rose Virginia Road as required by section 613.2, paren front yard exceptions, close paren. 6, the required rear yard setback in the R1 zoning district is 40 feet or 25% of the lot depth, whichever is less. The average lot depth is 158.28 feet, which will require a minimum rear yard setback of 39.57 feet. This setback is shown on the surveyed plot plan is shown on the survey plan is 37.72 feet, as it was based on the property's smallest rather than average property depth. 7, the proposed garage is to extend 28 feet south toward the rear property line. This will result in the addition encroaching on the required rear yard a distance of approximately 8.1 feet based on the information provided on the surveyed plot plan and using a setback derived from the average lot depth. 8, the height of the proposed addition is the same as the existing dwelling. Both heights are less than 35 feet maximum building height allowed within the R1 zoning district. 9, the existing building coverage for the building is 22,940 square feet, which results in a building coverage percentage of 11.8%. With the addition of the proposed 884 square feet foot garage addition and its associated 250 square foot covered porch, building coverage on the lot will increase to an approximate total of 16.4%. The maximum building coverage allowed in the R1 district is 25%. And 10, the existing paved coverage for the property is 1,660 square feet, which results in a paved coverage percentage of 6.7%. With an additional 572 square feet of paved driveway and 31 square feet of flagstone patio, paved coverage on the lot will increase to an approximate total of 9.1%. The maximum paved coverage allowed in the R1 district is 20%. Now, as I've already introduced everybody who is here, I'm going to give the meeting to our solicitor who will explain the manner in which the meeting will proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Ullman. Today, we're here for the hearing of Mr. and Mrs. Keg. As a result of that hearing, the relief that's being requested, Mr. Keg and Mrs. Keg, you have the burden of proof. I know I've seen Mr. Keg before. I think you've been through this with the zoning hearing board, so I believe you understand how that process works. What you have the opportunity to do today is to present evidence. You can do that in the form of testimony and or exhibits, and that can be with you or other witnesses. As each time you present an exhibit or a witness, the zoning hearing board members and members of the public that may be in attendance, although I don't believe there are any members in the public attending here this afternoon, but they will also have the opportunity to ask questions. After all of the testimony has been presented and all the questions have been answered, the zoning hearing board will recess into an executive session where they will discuss the relief that's being requested. After they've come to a conclusion, typically the zoning hearing board will come out and render an oral decision today. It will be followed up with a written decision within 45 days. Do you understand the process, Mr. and Mrs. Keg? Is that yes for the record? Okay, I'm having trouble hearing you, Mr. Keg, just simply because I'm not sure, you don't seem to be muted, but I just couldn't hear you. And just remember, you'll see that there's a person here, Kathy Mertz. She is our stenographer. She will be taking down the entire transcript today stenographically. So it's important we try to make sure that we're talking as clearly as we can through Zoom. All right. So any questions?
No,
Okay, all right, perfect. All right, at this point in time, Mr. Chairman, or Mr. Ullman, I'll turn it back over to you and we can proceed with the testimony.
All right, so we have everybody who's going to be testifying. Is there any attorneys present?
no.
Okay, so Mr. Kaeg, I presume that you're going to be presenting the testimony?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is there anybody here in opposition of what you're seeking?
No.
All right, then I would ask that all the witnesses be sworn.
So, Mr. Keg, if you could just identify who may be providing testimony today? I think Mr. Ciotto, you and will your wife also be providing testimony?
No.
Okay, so just you and Greg?
Yes.
All right. So if the two of you can just raise your right hand and we'll ask that the stenographer swear you in. Kathy, you're muted.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give today shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Keg, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, Mr. Ullman.
That's correct, Mr. Kaeg. You're up.
I'm up.
Yep, so you can tell us what tell us about your relief. What are you requesting?
Okay, so our property, obviously, I think, Dan, you know, I'm in a chair. So I'm now, I have to get a van, and the van is higher. So we decided we needed to build onto the garage so that we can accommodate a van that goes into the garage. And that's simply the basis of what we're trying to do.
So, okay, so Mr. Keg, I know that with your application, you sent some documents that were exhibits to explain kind of the relief that's being requested. Do you want to provide information and testimony about that, or do you want to let Greg do that?
I'll let Greg do that.
Okay, so do you have any other comments at this time for the zoning hearing board?
I don't believe so.
Okay,
You
All
did
right.
pass the letter around to your neighbors, correct? And that's an exhibit as well, that all the neighbors agreed that they're fine with what you're doing?
Yes, absolutely.
the letter from, excuse me for 1 second, the letter from the neighbors, was that admitted as part of the packet, Michelle? Yes, I see it right here.
Yeah, sorry. I just asked Melissa to scroll to page 12 so you have the site plan, but the letters were part of the package on page 18. It's actually one letter signed by three
Three neighbors.
adjacent property owners.
Okay, so at this point, does anybody have any questions for Mr. Keg?
No, Dan, does Mr. Kaeg understand his burden?
Well, I assume he does, but I think at this point, maybe what we want to do is let Mr. Ciotto go through the plans and explain to us, you know, what they're requesting and why they're requesting the relief. I think Mr. Kaeg explained that what he just said a moment ago, he's looking to put an extension onto the garage because he's in a wheelchair and he needs that for the van access for the wheelchair. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Kaeg?
I don't. Do you, Najla?
No, I don't.
Larry?
No, no.
I think the thrust of the testimony is going to come from Greg. So at this point, Greg, can you explain the relief that's being requested and, you know, use the plans that were submitted as part of the application to show us what's happening?
Well, I think the brunt of the, well, I wouldn't say the brunt of the problem is being that it's a corner lot, he doesn't have a side yard. And to construct this garage, obviously he's going into the backyard closer to the property, the Hollinger property. As you can see, he's going over the building setback line by 8 feet. He's still 30, I believe he's still 30, about 29, 30 feet away from the I would consider that a side yard, but I guess because it's a corner lot, it's considered the rear yard. So, I mean, if it was a side yard, he would be able to build within, I believe, 20 feet of that property line. And in order to construct this garage, we couldn't go any further towards the Rose Virginia Road. So obviously the only way to take it is towards the backyard, and obviously it takes us over the setback line, and pretty much it in a nutshell. I mean, we tried to everything's going to match the existing house. It's going to look good. He did check with every neighbor. The Hollingers are good with it. The Durs across the street. So the causes. So everybody that property adjoins his property is in agreement that they feel he should be able to do it. So he needs this room to get this vehicle in the garage. So that's pretty much why we're building it.
Okay. So Mr. Seattle, can you explain what your role is as it relates to this project?
Well, I would be the contractor. We had Mr. Whitford, the architect, put these plans together for us.
Can we go back one page, Melissa, on the plans that were submitted? Okay. Now, Mr. Seattle, have you seen this before?
Yes.
All right. Can you just describe, so I understand and everybody else understands, kind of what that depicts and what you're planning on doing based upon this plan?
Well, looking at this plan, the garage is coming, pretty hard without a pointer or to describe it, but
Can we,
you
Melissa,
go.
can you turn give Mr. Seattle the cursor control?
Sure.
is that
That's you. That's you moving
okay?
it.
All right, I have that now. Okay, so the garage, this is the existing garage in the building now. The existing garage is here. And what we're gonna do is put the new garage right here. It stays, as far as I know, it's behind the front setback line on Rose, Virginia, and it's gonna come 8 feet over the property line here. So this is gonna be the shape of the new garage, which shows up on the architect's plan.
Now, Melissa, if you move to the next page of the application. So I think we're on page 11 now. If we move to page 12 of the application. Does that diagram show the addition?
This one doesn't, no, this is just an overhead view. The addition is pretty much at the tip of the arrow here. The addition will be going on here.
If you look to the right of the of the aerial photograph, does that depict where the way it's laid out?
Mm. I
I
guess,
see-
I
I see-
think all the people are over top of the drawing.
Oh, I see. In your screen, you can't see that.
No, but it is, well, you can see the existing garage, existing house, and then, yes, the addition is to the right of the existing garage. And that-
Melissa, can you minimize it a little bit so maybe Greg can, does that help you to see the?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep. If you turn it over to me, I can,
okay. Do you have control, Greg, or, yeah, Greg?
there it is. Okay, this, all right, so this is the addition right here. Right here, the hatched area is the addition.
And it's within the setback line for,
Rose, Virginia.
okay. And it encroaches into the rear yard, you said by 8 feet, is that correct?
The architect, when he drew it, was 7, but he took the shortest point where it's supposed to be an average. So this says, I think, 7 foot. The drawing says 7 foot. The drawing says 7 foot 8 3/4, but according to Kraft, it's actually 8'1", because he didn't take the average dimension. So you can see here, this says 7'8", but it's in reality, it's 8'1", that it's sticking out over the line.
Okay.
The setback line. Typically, let's see, let me, if I can shift this over. Typically this if it was if it was a side yard, this dimension here would be 20 feet. And because it's considered a rear yard, because it's a corner lot, it has to be 37 feet. And we're going to be at, I think, 29 feet from the property line.
Melissa, can you just scroll down to the next page? Mr. Seattle, can you explain what these
The top one is the elevation looking at it from Rose Virginia Road. This is the existing garage door on the existing house.
I don't see your cursor. Just
Oh, that's right. I don't have it.
hold on, Michelle, or Melissa, if you can just give them the cursor. There we go.
There, okay. All right, so this is the existing house now. And you can see that's the existing house in the background there, that dotted line. So this here is the addition. There's the new garage door, what he needs for the height of the door to get in. And then he has to go in on an angle to get in and out of the car, and that's why it's a little bigger than the garage door. This elevation is showing, let's see, left side, rear elevation. This is looking at it from the back of the house. The Hollingers will look at it from there. And this is the existing house here. You can see we're the same height as the existing house. We're not going over that height. And then this one here is just a cut section through the house.
Melissa, if you can just go down to the next. And if you can give Mr. Seattle the cursor again. Mr. Seattle, can you explain what this diagram is?
I think this is more for the building part of it, showing the windows that are going in, and it's just a floor plan. You can see this is already a patio. This is the only patio we're adding.
I don't see your cursor again, Mr. Seattle.
Oh. I don't know. Didn't come.
There you go.
All right, so this is the addition. This is a covered porch, and this patio here is already existing. And then this little triangle is all the paving that we're adding in on it, just to kind of fill it in a little bit. This deck is all existing now. There is actually a porch here now underneath. This is gonna just kind of get enclosed. They're not enclosed. It's an open covered porch.
Mr. Seattle, can you scroll down to the next page, page 15? Can you do that?
I don't think, let's see.
There you go. Okay, and that's 16.
That-
15 and 16, do they have any additional information that the board should be made aware of?
I don't think so. Yeah, this is showing the existing patios. This is all the existing, what's there now. And obviously our new additions is going out here.
All right.
And the next one's just the foundation plan.
Okay.
I think that,
Mr. Seattle, do you have any further testimony to provide today?
now, the only other thing is, I mentioned there's no other place to put this building on his property that would really work.
The board members, do you have any questions for Mr. Seattle?
No, I don't.
Do you have any questions for Mr. Kay?
Greg, is the lot in any way unusual?
No. It's on a hill. It has the hill. The front yard's on a hill, so it can't go in that direction. I mean, it's the most logical place to put it.
Is it the only place on the lot where it could be put that it would work?
Yes.
Anybody else have any other questions?
I live on the street as well, and I wouldn't let them put it up there if it was gonna be an eyesore.
Well, we know you do good work, Greg.
Okay.
All right, any other questions?
No.
Mr. Keg, do you have any other testimony, any other witnesses?
No, sir.
Anything you'd like to say?
I appreciate everybody's interest in, making sure that we do things the right way, and we're we're very happy about this possibility.
All right, so I guess you're going to move your, well, I guess these are exhibits. So you're going to move to have these exhibits entered on the record? Yes?
Yes, yes.
Yes, okay. That completes the testimony. Now,
But
before,
before we do that, just give me 1 second, Mr. Chairman. Does Michelle have any testimony for us? And Mr. Neidert? We want to try to talk to them and swear them in to see if they have any testimony.
All I have is.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on, Joe. Hold on. Why don't we swear both you and Michelle in? If you guys could both raise your right hand and ask the stenographer to swear you in.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give today shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Do.
Mr. Neidert, I guess at this point, you're here in your capacity as a zoning officer for the borough. Is that correct?
Residential zoning officer.
Okay. And do you have any comments regarding this particular application?
I just wanted to, you had mentioned about evidence. I did produce the memo that was read at the beginning of the hearing.
Okay, we'll mark that as board exhibit number 1. Do you have any other information or exhibits relating to this particular matter?
The only thing I wanted to correct is Mr. Ciato had mentioned about side yard setbacks in the R1 zoning district are actually 15, not 20, as he had mentioned. But it really has no bearing on, what's being proposed. I just want to make that correction.
So the encroachment is 8 feet. It was correct 8.1 feet or something?
That's correct.
Okay, so that's the correct statement for the encroachment.
Right.
Yep.
Is there any other relief other than that setback encroachment that's being requested, Mr. Neidert?
I believe there's also an issue with the frontage on Virginia Road. Section 613.2 establishes a change in the front yard setback based off of neighboring properties. And it was established that it's going to basically extend past the neighbor's property at 1544 Virginia Road. On my letter, zoning issue number 5 addresses that. So even though the proposed addition will be behind the front building setback line, it will extend slightly past the neighbor's property. Well, the location of the principal dwelling in reference to Rose, Virginia. And they would need relief for that as well. I don't have an exact figure on that. I didn't have a survey. The survey didn't actually include that exact measurement.
In terms of the number of feet that's encroaching beyond the neighbor's setback, is that what you're speaking to?
Right.
Okay.
I don't have that
Do you have a
exact
rough
figure.
idea in terms of the number of feet?
I don't have that written down. I don't believe I had any other information other than looking at it on satellite. It was very close from my recollection.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have that exact measurement.
Do you believe that's going to change the character of the neighborhood in any way?
I do not.
Do you have anything further, Mr. Niter?
I do not.
All right, thank you very much. Does Mr. Keg, do you have any questions for Mr. Niter?
No, sir.
Okay.
I have a one comment and obviously it's obviously all up to Mr. Kaeg, but if it is an issue being over that 1 foot or 1.5 feet, I would imagine that we could shorten the garage to 1.5 feet if for some reason the board does not want us to go in that direction, that 1.5 feet.
So one other point, the 1.5 is based off of the survey. He's actually 1.5 feet behind the required building setback line associated with Rose, Virginia. It's just that the neighbor's house is actually farther back from that line. And according to that section 613.2, it basically increases that setback requirement.
Right.
So although he is in compliance, if you were looking at his lot and just his lot, he's in compliance by 1.5 feet. It's just that the neighboring house was set back a little bit more.
Okay, so in fact, it's not just a 1.5 foot, and you don't know the exact encroachment depth, but
I just know the 1.5 feet based off of the survey that we have for his lot.
understood. But again, you don't believe that it's impacting or going to adversely affect the neighborhood, is that correct?
No,
All right. So Mr. Niter, there's just those two sections, which were number 5 in your letter and number 7 in your letter, is that correct? That the zoning relief is being
yes,
requested?
correct.
Okay, thank you very much. Michelle, you've been sworn.
Yep.
All right, you're sworn today in your capacity as the secretary for the zoning hearing board, is that right?
Yes.
In that capacity, what are your duties and responsibilities?
I prepared a public notice that was advertised in the Reading Eagle on April 8th and April 15th of 2021. Same notice was posted at the subject property on April 1st at 1 p.m., April 1st of 2021. And that same notice was mailed to all adjacent property owners located within 300 feet of the subject property on March 29th of 2021 at approximately 1:30 p.m.
All right. And you have those, they were part of the packet of information that was distributed to everybody?
That is correct.
And we'll mark those as board exhibit number 2. Do you have any further evidence or information that you would like to share with the board today, Michelle?
Only that before I stepped down from being the overall zoning officer and became just the commercial zoning officer, I met the Kegs out at the property. I'm guessing that was September, maybe August of last year, to go over what they wanted to do, looked at the specific area on the property where the garage addition would go. And, in looking at the surrounding properties, the character of the neighborhood, I do not see any adverse impact on the neighborhood in general or the directly adjacent properties if the addition is approved.
Did you, as secretary, Michelle, receive any calls or concerns from any neighbors regarding this particular application?
I did not.
Anything further, Michelle?
Nope.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Michelle? All right. Hearing none, thank you very much, Michelle. Mr. Chairman, I turn it back over. Mr. Ullman, I turn it back over to you. At this point, I believe we probably proceed into an executive session.
Yes, I'm going to call recess and we're going to move to an executive session, and then we'll be back at the conclusion of that executive session.
Michelle, how is that going to work here? We have to log out and everybody has to log back in?
Correct. So we need to set a time on the record that we're going to reconvene the public session. So Greg, Gretchen, and Chris, and Kathy, and Joe, unless Joe, you are welcome to join us in executive session. So they know when to log back in. It is 3:36, 3:45, 3:50.
Board members?
3:45 is fine.
Let's make it 3:45.
3:45 it is. We'll see you back here at 3:45. Thank you all.
Greg, you've changed your office. You've changed your office, huh, Greg? He can't hear.
He's in his mobile office.
Is everybody, no, we still haven't got Larry.
I wonder what happened. Should we go ahead without him?
Yeah, we can. We can. You have a quorum, so we can still take a vote.
All right. Because I am generally the one who makes a motion, notwithstanding the fact that I'm serving as the temporary chairman of the zoning board, I'm going to make the motion. I move that we grant the request of Chris Kaeg for a variance from section 404 area, yard, and height regulations and section 613.2 front yard exceptions of the Borough of Wyomissing zoning ordinances to permit him to construct the garage in the manner set forth in this application, subject to the conditions that will be set forth on the record by our solicitor.
Those conditions will be our standard conditions, which is that you'll comply with all testimony that's been provided today, as well as all plans and documents that have been submitted with your application and as exhibits. You'll obtain and pay for all permits that are necessary to proceed with the construction of the project, that you will abide by all laws, rules, regulations, and ordinances. And finally, that you'll commence construction within 1 year of the date of the written application.
I second.
All right, all moved?
Aye.
Vote. Aye,
Aye.
aye, all right, the motion is granted.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Build a good garage.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Greg, hold on, before we end this meeting, Greg, what I would typically tell an applicant is the board has 45 days to issue the written executed decision. If you want to get the building permit in a while, that craft can at least start reviewing it. Joe/craft can't release it until we do issue the executed written decision, but at least you'll get the review period out of the way that, you know, we can hopefully hand you both things at the same time.
Yep, I think I turned it in 2 or 3 days ago.
You're ahead of us. You're optimistic.
Okay.
Way ahead of us. All right,
Okay.
Kathy, if you can just get me a copy of the transcript, please. All right, well, thank you very much, everybody. Good
Thank
good
you.
luck.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You too.
Yeah.
Bye.
Board members, I guess we will all see you again in about 6 minutes.
Is this the same
Okay.
link, Michelle, or is it a different link?
No, it's a different link.
Differently.
Okay, I'll see you in a couple minutes.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, bye. Bye.
Bye.